Dia of Conisata 2. This is video number 2 on an introduction or on a briefing or a course, an educational piece series on WYDA. Okay. We covered some basic kind of stuff in the first video, the structure of how things are going to flow. So to give a little bit of context about what the book talks about and how the Druids are referred to and where this lineage came from. So first of all, Liam O'Donnell was at Stonehenge when the German authors met him there. The German authors thought he was doing yoga. Liam had never heard of yoga, so they were inquisitive and they followed Liam back to Ireland and they stayed with him for a number of years in the process of writing the book. They gathered information from libraries, from other people that Liam knew, and it culminated in approximately 30 exercises and information about elements of nature that enhanced the different energy fields and even shapes that enhanced the exercises. The teachings were initially suppressed largely by Christianity, I would imagine, or certainly during penal law times, and for that reason Liam O'Donnell was a little bit reluctant to share, but I'm very grateful that he did share. The purpose of WYDA is wholeness, okay? Mental, emotional, vital energies, strengthening them, stabilizing them, bringing them back to center, then they merge together, and then we're into wholeness, unity, harmonization. There was a fear of a misuse of the wisdom that was there, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why the information was passed only through oral tradition up until now. And there is actually a line in the book that says, "With great power comes great responsibility." This book was published in 1989, so that's a very interesting quote. It required spiritual maturity, as this power could bring about. This power was a power over nature and natural processes. And the fear was that it might be used for harm and not good. However, it is my belief now that the world is ready for this, and that it is a seedling that is so grounded in the earth, so deep in the earth, that it is just so joyous to have an opportunity to be with us, as it has always been, because this has always been practiced. WYDA has always been practiced in Ireland. WYDA has never not been practiced in Ireland. And I'm sure the same goes for a lot of the countries across Europe. The argument of the older common root between WYDA and yoga would send it back thousands of years. Largely, there would be a long period of apprenticeship with the Druids in which you would then come to understand or come to be taught the wisdom of the Druids. So you're getting something here that has largely been kept secret for a very, very long period of time. So I'm encouraging you to digest as much of this as you can. Really spend some time with it. Spend time with the exercises. You don't have to rush anything. And then after a period of time, then if you've got any questions or want to learn more, then come and ask. I'm not going to be one to judge as to where you are along the path. That's for you to decide. Okay, so concepts about spiritual growth, knowing oneself, knowing one's body, growth mindset is what would be termed today. Mental flexibility, all really important. There is stages where you eventually get to the point of you strengthen first. So you strengthen the energy fields, then you stabilize them, then they come back to center. All right. And when they come back to center, then you're into a kind of more you've got more energy for transcendental, or what they call a magical state. The Druids were priests, lawgivers, healers. They were people of nature. And the process was to get to WYDA, which is the white world. And this could be seen as enlightenment. Now, this is an element which I think is really important to have your own understanding on. Okay, because this can be interpreted in many ways. So upon birth, we enter into something called abred, which I'm guessing is maybe a Welsh word again. And then through this process of unity, where the fields merge together, we enter into Gwenwyd, which is the white world, enlightenment. Now, sometimes I think of it like a seed from a tree falls onto the ground, goes into the soil, and then it has to shoot its roots down, or put its roots down and then shoot up. And then when it comes out of the soil, it's out of the darkness. And that's much like when we're in the womb and we're growing in the womb. The law of the Trinity is a major thing. So everything is in trinities. So trinities is just threes. 1, 2, 3. The purpose of pursuit is not the right word. Pause. The purpose of the practice, or the reflection, or the integration of WYDA was to essentially get to this ideal health, or this perfect health, or get to kind of this place where one felt whole or one with nature. It wasn't about separation from nature, or a kind of isolation from nature. And I'm going to talk a bit about this again later on in another video. It wasn't about renouncing the world. It wasn't about I'm separate from the rest of the world to achieve enlightenment or to attain enlightenment. It was about the integration between oneself and nature. And yes, there may be an argument that a human being that is integrated in nature is actually a human being that is separated from the world, because the world is so disconnected from nature. But I don't believe that is the case. I believe that the fundamental element of spirituality, if you think of spirituality in any way, shape, or form, is that you recognize that all beings and all things are spiritual. I think that is really important to me. That's one of my interpretations. Not everybody might agree with that. So it is the relationship between oneself, myself, and nature, which is the world. It is my world, which is the process of WYDA. And WYDA, again, is just a language to facilitate that relationship. Okay. If you don't click na, got me la mahagut.